and put remote participation right. Board members shall not be denied the opportunity to participate and vote in any meeting or proceeding using remote technology if such member requests to do so. If a member's connection is lost or disrupted, the meeting may continue. The member will be treated as absent for any portion the member cannot monitor and be monitored in real time. So that means if you lose access, it's still got a quorum, the meeting can continue, it doesn't infringe upon your rights, because nobody's keeping you out of the meeting, nobody's.
But I thought this is saying like if somebody comes, like say, the meeting starts at 6:30. Somebody logs in at 7 o'clock. This happens to be right in the middle of a vote. Then
That is exactly what it's saying. But if you notice, when you see the floor of Congress and you see the floor of the state assembly, they've got a 20-minute window to vote. And they walk in, they press the button, they walk out. Sometimes they're not there for the whole entire conversation. Good chair.
I think, and Nick and Jody can help too. I think the intention was that we don't want a board member to miss part of the public discussion if they're going to be voting on an item. So to your point about Congress and the assembly, totally get that members walk in and vote or not. I think the intention with this optional part is just to make sure that board members are informed. So if they come in 30 minutes after there's been discussion, they may have missed it. And rather than that member asking, can we go back and talk, you don't want to have to go back and kind of repeat everything for a member. So it's something for you guys to discuss, but I understand.
And that's a whole different story than taking away a member's right. That was vested in him by the voters.
I agree.
It's still by the way within the city.
hey, Nick or Jody, you chime in on this? What do you think about it?
The way, I'm getting a terrible echo, so I'm just going to try to, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
Who's talking?
I'm just,
Is
it's
it
getting,
on mute? We
I'm
can't
getting-
hear you, Jody.
you can't hear me?
I heard it before.
I can hear you online, Jody. I think there's something going on.
Is there?
There's a really bad echo.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing it. I'm in the boardroom.
Yeah.
That's right.
We can hear you, but over there is echo, very terrible connection.
So just while we're waiting, a point of clarification. So, okay. Sorry, we're just trying to work out some technical difficulties. I think while we're waiting, so are you considering including the optional part in the, or would you?
Well, it actually begins with, I didn't read this part, Cape does not recommend such participation, which is way outdated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this was just
Right.
put in, and it doesn't seem like it was.
So you would consider electronic participation with some?
It's not considered, so I consider following the law 100%. So, if we're gonna have anything. Again, there's no way you can say may member may not participate when that. No laws, we cannot have a bylaw that's illegal, that goes in contrary to state statute or public acts.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
The room's not getting sound, so. So you didn't hear me come up?
What, like echo?
Is your speaker on?
Lamont, you got any thoughts on this while we're waiting?
We can't talk.
Are they?
No,
I hear a terrible
Okay.
echo.
want me to bounce out and see? Sam,
Yeah, it came off. I can't even hear the discussion.
Sam, you want me to get out? What happens now?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Jody. Hey, Nick. How you doing, Mr. Beneham? Good to see you guys.
Hi, Albert.
Yeah.
Good
Every
to
time I
see
see, every time I see you guys make me happy.
you. Every time I see your initials, you make me happy.
There you go.
I'm telling you, like I say, thank you guys. You always, help out the board. I'm just so proud of you. Without you, a lot of things that don't change.
We're doing our best.
I know you
That's
are.
right.
Mr. Rick, when in the summer, let's have a picnic in your house because you have a big yard. A big house.
So Chair, this is it's a lot of echo, but I guess my question for a point of information, what is the discussion around that particular, because I couldn't even hear from the beginning. Well, I can hear, but it was very echoish. Can you all hear me? Because I even hear an echo in my own voice.
I can hear you, Lamont, but I don't hear an echo anymore.
I can hear you as well without an echo. I think
don't-
the issue is with the actual boardroom right now.
Yep.
So can you repeat
think
what
if
was
you-
being
if you mute
revised or
it-
proposed?
I was gonna say, if you mute the laptop that was projecting the screen, I think it won't pick up the microphone anymore, and I think that's what it was doing it.
Looks like it's muted here. Video conference production.
Yeah.
Do they have no sound now?
We can
Okay,
hear you,
sounding better.
Danielle.
Can you hear us?
I heard that. I heard somebody say something. Yes.
Yeah.
You hear us? Put your hand up, please. Thank you.
I can hear you.
Are we still streaming on YouTube?
Nothing is. We are on YouTube, yes.
Something on bug somewhere?
Everything's 100%.
Just don't have the same two icons as they were. Robert and Albert. Don't have that same funny looking icon.
What do you mean?
You see, Mr. Daniels on the right. His right side, he's got the
The little person
Like
with the
little
question
person.
mark, and so does Nick and Jody. The little person with question mark.
Hey, my picture, I'm up here twice.
here you now.
I can see Lamont twice. I see Nick and Jody just fine. Twice in one day. What a treat.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
We're
Okay, seems like we're back. I think where we left off was, where I was asking, Jody or Nick's, opinion on, Mr. Sakalovich's, you wanted to You had a question about this part with, board member with electronically joins the meeting after I have no business has been open.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me, Mr. Woodson, this is Jeff Postolski, Director of ITS, connecting. Are you having sound issues at all with the meeting right now? Because I just received a text that you were having issues. I just wanted to check in.
I think it's all good.
It's all set now? Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'll stand by just for a bit then, just to make sure everything is going okay. Thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you, no problem.
Could I ask a couple of clarifying questions
Sure.
regarding this? So conceding the fact that it's no longer optional, that you're required to allow board participation remotely, is it also in the statute that you can't set conditions for participation? And there are no, in other words, you can come in and at any time and do anything and vote anytime. There are no conditions that the board can establish in its bylaws around this issue?
I severely doubt it. I mean, the same rights are imbued in the things. If Mr. Daniels was not on, I'm just gonna use you as an example, I'm sorry. But if you were not online and you were running late at the meeting and you came in here and sat down, we cannot tell Mr. Daniels he cannot vote. Because he had car trouble or he was late. But if he walks in and we're voting on, say, hiring a superintendent or approving a budget or something crucial that we've all read and all about that. There's no way, shape, or form, and even if we were permitted, why would we not want to? We have, when you look at these things, you're not looking at them only in a meeting. So the voters in the city of Bridgeport imbued us with this right. You watch, I don't know if you heard, but you watch Congress, you watch Congress, they come in, they vote and they walk out. Sometimes they're not even there. Why? Because they read the whole entire bill or have one of their aides read it to them and explain it to them. And they either yay or nay. But the only thing you're really missing is debate.
Yeah, again, I can't speak to legal issues. This is something I would have to really bring to the CABE Deputy Counsel to really discuss, because I don't know, for example, with when your reference to Congress, if that's established in the rules that are at their discretion to establish or not. I mean, there are a lot of rules that guide what they can and can't do. So, and I don't know what's a law or what's just simply a norm or a protocol in Congress. So, but to facilitate, again, you raise a good question. I'm not denying that. I just want to make sure I give you the correct latitude as to what you can, as a board, determine as a bylaw. And so assuming that the board wants to have remote participation, that's fine, but I want to make sure that I can give you a clear guardrails as to what the board can determine is appropriate participation and what is not.
Right,
And I can find that out for you tomorrow.
Right, and currently we have no rule that says we can't do it either right now. And if this is a new issue for CABE, apparently 169 other districts don't have this same issue and it's never come up before. Or this was approved in some districts without people even considering this fact. So I think it's really important for CABE to find out.
I do know that boards have expectations and norms as to even in-person meetings. So for example, you can't come into a meeting and be disruptive. I mean, so there are limits to what a board can control in terms of its meeting expectations and behavioral expectations.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Might I suggest this, because this is gonna happen throughout quite a few policies here. That you take them all, get it through it, and you get the answers that we need, because I think this is gonna happen over and over and over again. Because this one seemed like a no-brainer to me, but apparently it's not. So I don't want to go back and forth debating all the time. I'll just we just list whatever concerns we have, and if there's not a quick consensus around, oh, that's right, that sounds right, then we move it on and you check with the legal and on each and every one, and then we bring it back to another meeting, because at this point, we wouldn't be ready to move this one at least forward just yet. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
Okay. What do you think, Nick?
Jody's the policy guru here. I can talk about protocols or, you know, where it's not specific to legal, but, or best practices, but I'm not going to challenge on the legal part of it.
Could I ask, what do you do now in terms of remote participation?
We follow the general statute that allows remote participation. Over the last 2 years ago, when remote participation was being abused, we used part of the policy to have a room for, because we got to give a room for people to have it. And we actually got quite familiar with the policy over that last year, and
Do you have any concerns as to how that how that bylaw is working for you as a board? Is it working?
so, well, we do have a policy in there around remote. I think it's in there. Can you look at, it was in the it was in the new bylaws that got approved. But there was an old iteration that got changed. I'm not sure which one you got up there. You got an old iteration that had us limiting, and then we had a discussion about that, and you couldn't limit people to 3 times. So if you see the one that's 3 times up there, that is the incorrect one, and it wasn't updated from the last go.
Whatever's up there is what you guys approved with Jody that we went through. That was what, about a year ago?
Yep.
Was it a year ago?
Yeah, I think it was, Danielle. So my question is, if you go back to that bylaw, just to facilitate movement on this, is that bylaw that was formally adopted by the previous board, is that working in terms of your remote participation? Are you able to deliberate over matters? Are you able to convene as a board and be constructive and move things along, approve action items? Does that work?
Absolutely, at least in my opinion.
My suggestion would be, this is not a legal opinion, this is just a suggestion from my experiences as a superintendent and working with other districts, is if your bylaw is currently working and you have evidence of it being able to move action items forward and you can complete the governance business of the board, then there's no reason for you to even argue over this model policy. You can continue to use your model policy as long as it's legally permissible to do so and it's working for you.
Lamont, any questions on the policy, Lamont?
So, so we're just in discussion, correct?
Yes.
Can you all hear me? I'm sorry, this.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfectly.
Yeah, no, I think personally, just from my own experiences, I have some concerns about this particular, if I'm looking at what's online, meaning, I guess, Danielle, you're highlighting that piece that we're discussing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with this particular sentence. I know in a lot of modern boards, from my experiences, I just haven't seen it, so I wouldn't be comfortable supporting it.
Okay. Jen, what you gotta say, Jen?
So
We can't hear you.
Oh, she's muted.
Marissa, what do you gotta say?
I think Jen just tried to speak just now. She's off mute. What I was gonna say is that if we thoroughly, so I have a problem with this from the perspective of if we speak We thoroughly vet something during committee and we're gonna vote on this during the board meeting. And I come halfway through the discussion. This sentence right here would preclude me or prevent me rather from voting on that piece, even though I had thorough conversation about that topic during the committee. So for those reasons, I too don't like this sentence.
Mr. Traver.
Yes, I can't quite see what that sentence is, so I'm trying to figure, if a board member electronically joins the meeting after an item of business has been opened and remotely located until, yeah, I don't like that sentence. And I don't think this is working. So people who say that it's working, the 3 times thing is not working. The, whatever the language is about the 3 times is not working. So that language that we voted on a year ago, we have people who are much more often than 3 times not coming to board meetings. And, you know, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but let's be clear, we have people who come many more times than 3. So, and in this policy, I don't see anything that addresses, to me, when somebody comes to a board meeting online, they should come to the board meeting online. And that means be there online. When I come to a board meeting online, I'm here. I can't stand seeing letters. I can't stand seeing, because we've had people who come to board meetings and we see their letters, but they're not there. I swear to God, they're not there. And we should see evidence of their being at the board meeting. And I remember, I'll give as an example, since it's not anybody that's currently on the board, that when I first got on the board, there was a board member who I'd never seen. And finally, at a board meeting, I asked him, because he was getting off the board, if he wouldn't mind turning his camera on for a moment so I could at least see what he looked like. Because I'd never seen him at a board meeting. And he turned on the camera for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We said hello, and then he turned it back off again. I just think that the board members should be present. And that's not addressed here. So I think the board members ought to be present at the meeting, whether they're online or in person. But we have, as we all know, had board members who are present, but they're not present. And we ought to know that. And that, I don't see that addressed in this policy. So
Mr.
with regard to that one sentence, I don't like that one sentence that I see highlighted on the screen. I can now see what it is on the larger copy I have. Go ahead, Mr. Banahan.
You got the floor, Mr. Woodson?
Yes, we got Mr. Banahan.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the way I see it. When it's your board member, because you are elected official, because the community, when we have a board education meeting, present, I suggest to have all the board members be present. Why the reason? Because we are elected, because the community. When it's about, like right now, it's the committee, like tonight or another committee. If I'm not part of the committee, of course, I don't need, I love to, you all go, you guys know that I always love to go, but I cannot go to it because I'm far away. But it was good, to be online or be present. If this is my opinion, and everybody know I went through that. If I'm in the board and it's a board education meeting and I cannot make it, and I'm in the hospital, because everybody knows sometimes it's a board education. I was in the hospital. I was online because that's different, because I was in the hospital, something very seriously. But I suggest that whoever be in the board and be in a board education meeting when we have Mondays, I suggest a person have to be present, because parents and community and everybody say, where are the board members? Why are they always online? because we know we got board members, they always online, as Mr. Trevor said. Sometimes you be 5-10 minutes and for a second you disappear. So I don't find that right, and I don't find that right for our community. When we have board education meeting, they are not present. So we have to understand we got elected because the community and people vote for us. I just want to put that for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, so it seems like we got a consensus that this is not going anywhere. We can handle that. I would say this is one of two ways of handling it. One, we take no action on the committee. No motion is made. You ask for a motion, it's not made, so it falls to the floor. And the only way it comes back is if the chair puts it on the agenda. I don't think the chair will, because you see five board members speaking against it being changed. So. Or we can make an affirmative motion to present it to the board. And recommend it's not passed, which puts an extra agenda item on the board.
Through the chair, would you consider striking that sentence?
Oh, right, just deleting that line.
It's redundant to what we have in place already.
You don't know where you, like, in your 9,000 series online, there's nothing.
It's not the 9,000 series. It would be remote participation of the board. It was in a weird place. That's the issue. So it wasn't straight in the 9,000. I can't. But that'll bring up the problem where he's got to still
Could I ask a question just to again, for clarification purposes, again, striking out that concerning sentence that says if a board member electronically joins, that's striking that out. Do you have any problem with the preceding sentence? Because that might address Mr. Traber's issue around being required to keep your camera on and participate. So you're there. So it's not somebody else. You're not out and just have your camera off and people think you're there, but you're not there, or having somebody else there take your vote for you because you're out somewhere. I mean, do you have an issue with keeping the camera on remotely?
Not per se. However, before there was an advent of remote meetings via the internet and via the computers, people were able to telephone in. Well, it wasn't often used. They had the right to telephonically participate.
I would see that as that's a special issue, and I think you can at that point make a determination at the table to say we're having technological issues. We're going to ameliorate that through using telephones. You can waive the bylaw to do that if you needed to. But I think the preceding sentence, again, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think that may address what I heard Mr. Traber sharing in terms of if you're going to be remote, you need to be present and we need to see you and we need to hear you and you need to, and so I think that may move this along.
Danielle?
Oh, I was going to also comment on the last paragraph, that any board member wishing to participate in a meeting electronically, because Mr. Benham-Grajales made a good point. If he was in the hospital, I'm assuming he wouldn't want his camera on. And this tells you that you would notify the board and the superintendent prior to the meeting. And so that the chair of the meeting can also address that, announce that why somebody particularly, could give the example why somebody particular couldn't put a camera on. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go forward with this piecemeal, there's other issues in the rest of this. But we're gonna pick version 1 or version 2, and there's an issue in each of those versions that's coming up that we're gonna have to discuss to possibly change as well.
No, they're over here too.
I think it's cleaner just keeping what we got, because in version 1, they're requiring us to use district devices authorized. And
I think that's a technology to like this. Is Jeff still on?
No.
Isn't that-
Through the chair, I think that's a FOIA.
you got
Issue.
district device.
So if they FOIA and you're using your personal device,
Right.
technically they can subpoena your personal device.
Well, that would be my risk to take, either to use my brand new iMac or the 20-year-old district device that have been provided. So, if they want to create I mean, that's our rate. But, you wanna go to them, because this is gonna be more fixed.
Okay, Mr. Traver?
I think that, I want to just agree with what, Jody said about, that language dealing with my concerns. And I'm comfortable moving forward. That's it.
Mr. Mayor Hernandez?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment on this language, like the if, I guess what I was trying to say is, if we strike out the sentence, are we okay with this alternative? I guess the first optional, I'm reading versions, alternative version 1 and number 2, and I don't find anything glaring in here either. So I guess my question is, all the things that we have, I have also our policy that we have right now up here. All these items are addressed within these policies, but the new Cape policies also very clearly identify our cameras need to be on. Why not just strike out the language and integrate this new policy that kind of streamlines things for us?
Yeah. There's problems in both version 1 and 2. But I already mentioned the district issued device. Nowhere in the Public Act number, nowhere in Public Act 22 does it say you must be part of. It says the board member has the absolute right to attend the meeting electronically. Does it say must use the district device, or she must use the district device? So at the very least, if we adopt that one, it has to be,
Well, could we strike the district?
Yeah.
except in version 1, just to move things along, and version 2, just in case anybody else is using this throughout the cities. Due to security concerns, electronic participation in closed executive sessions will not be permitted.
Again, through the chair. Again, I think that's a FOIA issue. So you're not, if, let's say you were communicating with somebody outside of executive sessions in the board meeting that you just dismissed from. If you're on an electronic device in executive session, could you be communicating with somebody? You know what I mean? So I think it's just, when you go in executive session, it's private.
Or
And I think,
And
I think the idea is just, so again, these are, you know,
I can have this going in any executive session, sitting in a room. Are we gonna ban phones? Are we gonna search board members going into the
that's
meeting?
up, again, that's
Or are we gonna follow a code of ethics and not disclose anything that happened in executive session, whether we're at home or not?
Yeah.
And again, it's the absolute right of a board member to attend executive session.
yeah.
So we're
that's-
going in to decide, again, the superintendent search, the superintendent, negotiation of any contracts or whatever have you. Or you don't have no say in this $100 million contract because you're not allowed in the executive session because you're not here. No, it's not for FOIA violation. Is when you don't disclose things to the public, not in case you do disclose something.
Okay, so I'm sorry, we seem to not be raising hands. Mr. Chair, are we having hands or not having hands?
You got something to say, Mr. Straver?
I did want to ask a question, but
Go ahead, you got the floor.
well, okay, so due to security concerns, electronic participation in closed electronic, executive sessions will not be permitted. Is that the law or not the law?
it is not the law. It's just to ensure, going back to Chris's point, that you're protecting FOIA, you're protecting the executive session, you're trying to control the environment to ensure people are correct. But also I will say that, you know, Joe is correct to say that, I mean, I have worked with boards where there was remote participation in executive sessions, but it was stated very clearly that what happens in executive session stays in executive session, so you get those reminders. We also would adjourn the actual meeting of the board meeting and then have a different link to go into executive session to ensure that you're
Which,
protecting the executive session.
which
So
is the way we've done it, which is the way
Yeah.
we've done it.
So you can do that. Again, these are model policies designed for boards to deliberate over. So if things are working for you and there isn't an issue, then there's no reason for you to have language that says that you have to be, you know, you have to be there to be in executive session or whatever constraints you want to put on any of these bylaws. So the first one, you can certainly say that, you know, the concern is around FOIA, but you can have your own devices. A lot of boards do that with it, have meetings with their own devices remotely. And also there are boards that meet in executive session with members participating electronically. People go out of their way to say, if you can make it, make it. It's much better to be in person. But if you can't be, we understand, and we can facilitate that to protect the executive session. And people could also walk out of an executive session, board members can walk out and the next day have coffee with someone and discuss what happened in the executive session. So yeah, Joe is correct. You have to rely on people's ethical behavior and their willingness to follow the board's stated norms and values and beliefs. And if you don't, then it's on you.
Yeah, and so I understand that.
Sure.
I mean, I'm on my personal phone right now because I couldn't get the board computer to get me to the meeting.
Right.
So I had to go to my phone. We have used a separate link. We have closed the meeting, passed out a link, sent the link to board members who were online, attending the meeting online, to give them a link to join us in executive session. The chair has used her computer to allow them to participate in the executive session discussion, close that link, and we've gone back to the general and reconvened the general meeting. So
And that's good practice. That's good practice.
we are comfortable with doing it that way, and I am comfortable with continuing to do it that way. So I think that Bridgeport would be comfortable continuing that practice.
Okay, so it looks like then the alternate version 1 paragraph is more satisfactory to the board if we strike the district device from that paragraph, because that paragraph doesn't mention executive session.
Correct.
So we're not using,
Scroll.
we're not using this at all.
Right.
You are.
Strike this out.
No.
So let's.
Version.
Right.
It goes to the second.
Oh,
page.
yeah, but then there's alternate version 2, the 1. So we're gonna use this version instead?
Version 1 would be used.
So
Correct.
that, again, so strike this entire version out.
But I need, before I make a motion, I need to know where that,
Wait. I just joked. Before you go there, I wanted to ask you what else. But let me just make sure that I understand what Jody and Danielle are saying here. And in the version 1, what modification were you saying we need to make? Oh, the personal devices, right?
Correct.
Striking district issue.
Right. Participation of members by district issued electronic devices. Okay, go ahead, Joe, sorry.
yeah, all right, I want to make one motion. Where is the camera located? The portion, Mr. Traber, where you talk about with the camera, keeping the camera on? Is that,
Oh, that, well,
That-
if you're striking, that's on the first page. but if
That's
you're
on the
striking
first page in the notice
Alternate.
of meetings, the second or third paragraph, however you count them.
The board may allow members to participate.
oh, it's in that same paragraph.
But must be connected with the meeting throughout the discussion of business with their camera on.
We're gonna have to strike the paragraph and insert that if everybody wants that. Okay, so,
I think the proposal is to either strike the whole first page and just use alternate version 1. Or if you want to add.
That
This
makes
triggers
sense.
it needs to alternate
yeah,
version.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think, just to that, I think for the participation piece that Mr. Chambers talked about with cameras on, I think you will know they're participating when you look at the votes, because it'll be roll call votes.
Right. And
Because
that's,
right now, the struggle is right now that, I know, John has mentioned to me the other day, he's like, how do we know what they voted online? They didn't say anything, right? Are they affirmative or they, you know? And so having the roll call vote, if you're participating online, would kind of show if there's participation or not.
I disagree.
well, I think we gotta move something towards the board and we can debate it further. At the board of any amendments. What's trying to think because
you got something to say, Nick?
Yes, I do. I was at our CABE conference this year. Mark Samaruga and a representative from the FOI Commission did a presentation on FOI, and I believe they both said that if you do have remote people remoting into a meeting, that the vote has to be done by roll call. So I think that is, I understand the FOI law that's been added to that. At least according to the FOI representative.
I agree.
and-
I agree with that. I was not disagreeing with that, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To be clear, I was disagreeing with letting people keep their cameras off. I think people should have their cameras on.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody can step away from their camera. I get that. But I think people ought to have their cameras on and be present.
I think the other thing people might be concerned about is in executive session, if the camera's off, you don't know if the person's sitting by themselves or not. So, you know, or who else might be in the room.
Yep, you can see the cat and you can see whoever else is sitting there.
you know, I think for the time being, until we get to the regular board member that the regular board meeting. That we should just move it along. With the 9321. And electronic participation in alternative version 1, because we got some definitions of special meetings and notice requirements in here. So I would like to make a motion to amend presentation of policy number 9321 by striking paragraph 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4. And removing anywhere in the policy in version 1. Or the 9321 district device. District devices. And, okay, never mind, number 2, yeah, I think it's number 2.
Remove alternate version 2.
Right, so, well, we're pushing forward onto the version 1, so we don't really have to.
So I'm gonna go ahead and delete version 2, because I just want to try to catch up with everybody.
That has been a folder, I'm assuming it's gonna go that way.
And then we are not going to use this version with the cameras on and any notification whatsoever.
Well, right. This is just the committee will move it forward.
So we'll show that we are deleting this version. And this is the version, but you want to take out district.
Issue, just district issue.
And then it also appears in the first page too as well.
And underneath that too, this is district issue.
I'm confused about what you're doing with the first page.
Me too.
I thought everybody wanted that very first version and just adding the roll call to it the way it is.
There's a point of order in information, the only, all the stuff that
Joe,
came.
could-
Members
Joe,
of the
could you,
committee.
Joe,
We're just trying to move it back to, we're trying to move it to the full board. We could have a full discussion with voting members at the full board. We've been on this for quite a while and
okay, but you interrupted Danielle. You interrupted Danielle, who was telling us what we were doing.
I raised the point of order, which is allowed to interrupt people according to Robert's rules. of order. Thank you.
Okay, so a point of order is, I didn't hear your point of order. And
I want to second Joe's motion.
Can you repeat the motion? I can't
yeah,
hear.
so repeat the motion now, fellas.
Motion is to use page one, striking paragraph, what was it, 1, 2, 3.
Joe, can you just slow down a little bit so when you're saying it, I can see it on the slide or the computer, I guess?
So do I have it right so they can see it?
I can't see all the way over.
You do.
I do, thank you.
Striking paragraph 5.
Let's highlight it in red.
Could you read it, please?
Oh, the whole paragraph,
You just.
but
It's on the
the
screen.
part that was striking.
I'm just gonna let everybody else talk this out.
So
We got ready.
through the chair. So there's three different options for the electronic participation. What you're seeing on the screen now is essentially the first option, and then Cade gives you an alternate option 1 and alternate option 2. So the motion is to strike the first option, go to the second page, keep that alternate version 1 as that would replace electronic participation on the first page. And then you would not need the last paragraph because that's a third option. So all of it in red would go away and on the, it would just be a 1-page policy with regular meetings, special meetings, notice of meetings, and electronic participation in black there with the red strikeouts. If that summarizes.
And then this is why we have the committee meeting, and this should be uploaded into the board portal for the regular meeting with the edits, so everybody could follow along rather than going back and forth with I mean, policies are not easy. This happens all the time. That's why we gotta have the hard copy, move it from committee with revisions, and we discuss those revisions at the board, or somebody might want to make an amendment from the floor.
If you're deleting the entire first page of this bylaw, are you then also deleting the language around keeping the camera on?
But
Yes.
we're not deleting it. We're not deleting the first page, you said.
Just the electronic participation.
I call the question.
Second, I second this.
All in
And then
favor?
all in favor of passing this, to the full board?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Shall we vote for Mr. or an abstention for Mr. Dean?
Oh, yeah, it's gotta be roll call.
Well,
That was a good point. No, it is.
Well, I want to know.
We gotta start practicing and then we.
Mr. Dennis, what's your vote on this Bible?
I'm sorry, I asked for the motion to be repeated and I did not hear it. I don't know what I'm voting on.
Alternate version 1.
This, yeah, there's an alternate version. You don't have the bylaws in front of you, but there's.
I do, I have a full print copy, but I said people were talking very fast, so I don't know what I'm voting on.
Can you turn to the second page? You see alternate, you see electronic participation, alternate version 1. Then under there, there's another paragraph for electronic participation, alternate version 2. Can you see that?
Yes, I have everything in frame, but I see all this red on the screen, so that's what was confusing me.
Yeah, what is that?
Alternate version 1, you're voting.
We're just voting on which version that we're gonna take into our bylaws. Alternate version 1 or 2.
Just 1.
But we already voted, we voted on just to move the alternate version 1 to our next meeting, and then we're gonna have a discussion on it then.
So the motion is to move this where?
to our next, regular board meeting, so we can have discussion on it.
Okay,
But we-
I didn't hear that. I support it.
Okay. Right, so he's.
If you could just slow down talking, that'd be very helpful. You know,
Okay,
some of
no
you've been
problem.
at this for a while.
No, no, but that's Joe. Just the
That's who
problem.
I'm referencing.
And everybody, please have the
Just
papers in
slow it
front of
down.
them so they can look line by line, as we say it the first time. It would be very helpful in going forward, because this one took an hour.
Joe, you're talking fast. Slow down.
Okay, Jody, you got something to, say?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I know you voted on the last one, but just for my own benefit, I'm looking at I'm looking the K policy. I'm gonna do it very, very slowly. Could you just show me the first page of that of the policy that you're bringing to your full board, 9321? Just the first page. I know you're voting it. I know you want alternative one, but what does the first page look like?
It's 9321, time, place, notification of meetings.
Okay, go just scroll up a little bit. I just want to see that. I want to make sure that Robert's language was kept in there.
Point of
So you have regular-
information, that was, on point of information and point of order. The voting members of this board have already voted to pass whatever's in there, whether it's in it or not. The issue is off the floor. If you would like Danielle to send it to you, if Rob would like, Mr. Traeger would like to change
No, if you
anything
could
that's been voted on, he's got the opportunity at the regular board meeting. We've been on this one for an hour.
No, but I'm looking at this policy. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to be I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to understand. Just scroll up a little more. The language that Robert was talking about with people voting on camera. See, it's crossed off. Stop there.
Yes.
The board may allow members to participate in meetings by district issued electronic means. Board members may not simply vote electronically, but must be connected with the meeting throughout the discussion of business with their cameras on. That's crossed off right now.
Right, but
No,
in alternate version one, in alternate version one, there's a sentence that says the same, it's just a little bit differently. Right.
Anything
Okay.
crossed off by the voting members of this committee.
Mhm.
If there needs to be a revision by a non-voting member of this committee, they may bring it up at the regular board meeting. That's how committees work. And that's how amendments won't work.
He was asking a question.
I know, but he's trying, I mean, but we're gonna go through 10 more policies, he's gonna say something that this one didn't know, this one we do. We gotta know the rule. These are basic parliamentary procedures that the committee members push it to the full board.
Okay. Moving on to, item 2 on the agenda, discussion of possible action on the following cable. Okay, now we're on, letter B, public and executive session, 9322.
So these are all definitions, right? You're gonna,
Yeah, but,
Okay. just making sure. So 9322,
motion to approve, I'd like to make a motion to consolidate, no, never mind. I make a motion to approve 9322 as presented.
Lamont, how do you,
I'm
you
sorry.
You got a
I'm sorry.
got a second to motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right.
Point point of information. Point of information,
Go
Mr.
ahead, Mr.
Chair.
Faber.
What happened to 9321.2?
Just did that.
Electronic Board of Education meetings?
Nope, I got it. Okay, you just did it, and I didn't even hear the vote.
That's other. Okay, any discussion on, letter B, public and executive session? 9322. Jody? Maybe.
He's not
Lamont, you got any discussion on,
No,
Public and executive session,
I
9322.
thought Jody was talking. I saw his mouth move.
Oh, he's on mute.
I'm sorry
that
about
you?
that. My hand was up accidentally. I'm sorry. I just took it off.
Okay, that's okay. And this comes after, discussion on, okay, all of, here, no discussion on, public, executive, public and executive session. We have a roll call vote for, moving this item to, the meeting, the next regular meeting.
Joseph Calvin, the guy.
Mr. Daniels, how do you vote?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Lamont Daniels, aye.
Okay, 3 ayes, for the, public and executive session, 9322. Discussion, any discussion? Okay, moving on to item C, agenda construction 9323. Any discussion on that?
Yes, we'll do the motion. Motion to approve agenda construction 9323.
I'll second that.
Okay,
And so make a motion. I have one suggested amendment. This was brought up by Chris a while back in paragraph 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4. Last line. You'll see be made available in the board's portal. I would like to insert 48 hours prior to the meeting. That's when we should have our documentation. Before we go into the meeting. Now, we know there'll be extenuating circumstances from time to time, but just having it there, that means it'll be in compliance if we have it the day of. We've seen that several times and we wanted to make sure there's like a timeline when we get our information.
The 24 computer spots, no.
No, that's posting.
Yeah,
This is a separate thing made available in the board's portal, any associated documents that may be reviewed by members of the board at such meeting will be made available on the board's portal prior to the meeting. That can be 5 minutes. We'll put in that 48 hours, gives us a backstop to say what the board's expectations are. Actually, I believe that was your suggestion.
okay, Lamont, any discussion on the agenda
don't.
construction?
No,
Okay, Miss Escobar Jimenez.
Thank you. I agree with the addition of 48 hours, and then I have an additional change, which is on the second sentence to specify regular and special meetings. So this applies to the agenda construction of both type of meetings.
Go ahead, Joe.
The only thing with that is special meetings can be called 24 hours in advance. So
Right.
if you're requiring that information be posted 48 hours, we're gonna go against our own bylaw there.
And that's gonna come up at another point as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I just didn't mean to jump in, but,
Go ahead, Mr. Trevor.
Yeah, my only comment on Mr. Sakalovic's amendment is you should say at least 48 hours or something like that. Because if you say 48 hours and they don't make it, it's 48 and a half, 48. You don't want to say 48 hours. You want to say at least 48 hours so that it's, if you say 48 and it's not 48, it's a little more, a little less. You just want to qualify that a little differently.
What is it? Is it the heat?
At least 48 hours.
I'll be very
yeah,
sorry.
I got it.
Anybody else with any comments about it? Miss.
So yeah, I would like to make a motion to amend paragraph 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4. Insert the words at least 48 hours between the words portal and prior.
It's there.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, is there a second to that, amendment?
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none. Take a roll call vote. Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Skolovich,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Ayes have it, we move into the, meeting agenda. Okay, now moving on to item D, advanced delivery of materials, 9324.
Motion to approve advanced delivery of meeting materials.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And I suggest one amendment, the same exact amendment, and actually I did write down. Number one, add the words after student representatives at least 48 hours prior to the meeting to remain consistent with the language we just.
Where are you, Joe?
Number one,
The complete Board of Education student materials pertaining to those shall be electronic. Oh, be made available electronic. I gotcha, at least 48 hours.
You want to have it, student reps,
Let's see each board.
I like everything on the same time. Get the full
I'm
participants.
saying she. Danielle, he wanted it after student reps.
Oh, sorry. Student representatives, at least. We can't spell. 48 hours. In advance? What, we're prior to?
Prior.
Prior.
Prior to, is it prior?
Prior to the meeting.
Yeah.
Should we say should we say regular meeting? Because that would not, meeting would be to in general, or to the regular meeting, because it would not apply for a special meeting.
I think that would be understood.
Regular meeting.
I don't think it. Prior to the radio, we'll put this in.
Ms. Amendments?
The same verbiage should also be added in the last paragraph after prior.
That's prior to the meeting, the associated documents. Will be available
At
on the-
least 48 hours prior to the meeting in that last sentence.
Why would we put them on the website prior? I understand to the board, but the item before is saying that 3 p.m. Fridays preceding the regular meeting, the agenda is going to be made available to the public on the website, basically on Friday afternoons. So now you're changing that to, that would be Thursday.
Oh, no, I withdraw. I misread this. Danielle, thanks for clarifying. I thought this was related to our portal materials as well. We can, I withdraw.
However, I'm sorry. You bring up a good point that made me think of something else. That we've been neglectful as a board, providing the public with materials and access to materials before the board meeting, which we're one of very few districts that do that. And what your amendment inadvertently did is actually create a requirement that we need to actually create either now or in the future to have those board materials. I mean, we know some of us have been going around to different board meetings, and when I walked into Hartford, they gave me a stack like this of materials, and it was also posted online. It was everything that was going to be approved at that board meeting, the public had got to read. We're one of the few districts that don't post things online.
Joe, since we've been using Board Book, everything's posted to the public online. It's posted on Friday. You should go to the website.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're using the portal, but where
Right.
it's all on everything that,
Just an affirmation of that would be,
so it would be by.
given by Mr. Zahn, even if it is amendment, would make it codified that we have to do that, even if we already do it.
Well, then you can get it, you can just put it a day before we're doing it right now. So what she said is to do it for Thursday, but we're not even doing it, like, we're on Friday.
We're giving,
Sorry, could you, now I'm lost.
we're giving the board their information ahead of time.
Correct.
The public when we actually post all publicly and everything's going on the website, it's going within that 24 hours. So you're getting the 48. The public posting is falling under the FOIA requirement with the 24 hours.
Oh, so yeah, that's the language as is.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. So I made the motion for to add the last language. It wasn't seconded yet.
But, you want to second that, Lamont? No, I'll second that.
I'm here. I was just trying to text you. I gotta refresh myself.
No problem.
I don't know how to say it. I
problem.
second it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any further discussion on it? Seeing none, take a vote. All in favor?
Joseph Collier, aye.
Lamont, aye.
And Andre, aye.
Mr. Woodson, please read your text right quick for me.
Well, I'm sorry to do this, but point of information. We are in a public meeting and part of the bylaw that was just passed, which is actually embodied in the law. We're not supposed to be even using chat features or text. I know it's innocuous, but right now, you guys just opened up to yourselves to be FOIA for that text message.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, moving on to item E, public participation at board meetings, 9324. One.
I'm missing that.
I'm missing that too. That's not.
Oh, it's the next page, 59,
Yeah.
Advance.
page 59.
Andre.
Oh, it's out of order?
No, it's the next page.
No, it's not here.
Nick, you got something to say, Nick?
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
apologize. I didn't want to just disengage without at least comment. I have to run, and I did mention to Danielle I couldn't stay for the whole meeting. I apologized. Good luck.
Thank you, thanks for coming, Nick.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's just not numbered in the packet. That's why it's not. I guess that's why it's not in order.
Yeah,
So what is this?
Page 59. is the
Yeah.
wrong side.
you just gotta the number on the passport, I think we. If I'm not one.
One,
Ready for, yeah,
I move to approve 9324.1 public participation at board meetings as presented.
any seconds for the motion? I'm the second. And, will there be any discussion on this, 9324.1? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
I'm sorry, I'd like to make a quick amendment. To move to the full board for immediate adoption, bypassing 93, bypassing a bylaw that requires 2 reads.
Second, I'll second that. All right,
Hold on, stepped away from that.
yeah,
Quick question.
go ahead, Jody.
The second paragraph, a 3-minute time limit says may. Should that be shall instead of may?
Good point.
So Joe.
I will show my motion.
Jody, you think,
Okay,
you think Jody is on
Second.
game?
I make a motion to approve 9324.1 as presented with one revision in the second paragraph. Correct the word may and insert the word shall.
okay, I second that.
And yet for immediate
Looks like-
implementation, bypassing the first and second reading.
Looks like you have a hand up. Somebody has a hand up.
Okay, I'll second that, and then, Miss Estrella Hernandez, you got something to add?
Thank you. So I had 2 changes. Jody actually mentioned the first one. The second one is 1, 2, 3, third paragraph. comments at special meetings must be related to the call of the meeting. I personally disagree with that sentence because just a few weeks ago, we had someone come up to public comment and we told them, hey, you can't speak up. And he was chatting about his special needs grandson. And he said, okay, I'll come back to the regular meeting. He never came back. We never heard his concern. So I think public comment should be open at all our meetings or whatever the public wants to discuss with us.
Joe.
Man, yeah, up until 2 years ago, 2 years or 3 years ago, there was no right for the public to even have, no, it's gotta be longer than that, I'm sorry. Prior to probably anybody's tenure on the board here, but other than myself and maybe Mr. Benahan. We put this in place because of certain abuses where people were canceling public meetings. I mean, regular meetings and putting them on special, which had no public comment allowed. So that's how it came. So, and we thought a good way to do it was to avoid a controversial topic from being moved from the public, from the regular board meeting to the special meeting and disallowing anybody to speak up on that controversial topic to limit it to special meetings. And I believe we may be the only district, one of the only districts to have public comment in a special meeting at all.
Under FOIA, that you can, the board can only discuss the items that that are on the agenda. And for some reason, I feel like, and I can't get it to open right now. I'm trying to look, I think it's gonna be under 1225. If that falls, I don't know about the public comment that would, for some reason, I feel like it maybe public. If you can only discuss the items that are on the agenda, I'm just thinking out loud, if you can only discuss the items that are on the agenda, I know that for a special meeting.
Mhm.
What would the public? I don't think FOIA covers public comment. I think that's up to you guys.
Yeah, Mr. Benahan, you got something to say?
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, thank you. Just wanna go piggyback what Ms. Jimenez say. I agree with her 100%. That person's still very disappointed because nobody reached that person back. And I know it's very important when the public comment, any person come. And sometimes people do it and sometimes they don't. We do need to follow and try to contact that person because I don't want the person to feel disappointed for the board member. They don't we don't care. But that person feel disappointed. I don't know, somebody keeps reach that person. But I'm agree with what Ms. Jimenez said. Remember, people, though we are elected because the people vote for us. So we need to follow and work, trying to communicate with our public and with our people. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Draper?
Yes, and given what Mr. Sokolovic just said, it's all the more reason to allow somebody to speak on any subject at a special meeting. Because you can still abuse the right of the public to speak. If you cancel all your regular meetings and only have special meetings, then the public couldn't come and speak about whatever they wanted to. So it seems to me that that's another reason to let the public speak about whatever they want to at all meetings. So I would agree. Delete that sentence.
If either Mr. Woodson or Mr. Daniels would like to make that motion to move it forward to the full board, they're welcome to.
Am
I
I
will not make such a motion.
deleting, Chuck?
No,
I made a motion in a second to,
Your motion stands.
yeah.
Can you repeat the motion?
Well,
It was the
we
motion was-
who can't make motions because we're not on the committee are asking those of you who can make motions to say comments and questions at regular and special meetings may deal with any topic related to the board's conduct of the schools. So you would just delete the second sentence and you would conclude regular and special meetings.
Mr. Daniels, yeah, my motion, as you asked, was to approve 93-24.1 as presented with one change in paragraph 1, 2. Paragraph 2, strike the word may and insert the word shall. Well, waiving the first and second read for, oh wait, maybe not. Let me give you guys the respect to have a little more discussion about this at the full board meeting. For first read, regular board meeting.
I can see it.
You want to second it?
That's
Or-
the,
It was it's the vote.
Okay, Jody, you got something to say?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Again, I just want to, again, gentle pushback. I'm going to support or just acknowledge Danielle's point around special meetings really need to be special and really need to, and again, if board meetings exist for the board to conduct its business, and special meetings are unique ways for boards to, on occasion, have a meeting to discuss something very specific to the point where the board can't add anything to the agenda. I just wonder what, again, and I understand you want to hear from your public. You can create various ways for your public to convey concerns to you. I'm just concerned that if you make this an available opportunity for people to come and talk about anything, it conflicts with the overall purpose of a special meeting where you conduct specific business around a specific topic.
All right, I call the question.
Okay, I'm gonna second. And, is there any more discussion on this, or this question?
All right. All in favor? Oh wait, all in favor of calling the question? Aye.
Aye. So then was,
so we're voting on this your amendment to add shall, correct? But then all its other content, correct?
Well, first technically, we're voting on calling the question to end debate. And then we will vote on it next.
Okay, I to the end of debate.
and I would make a motion to vote on public participation at board meetings 24.1.
Sakalovic,
Aye.
I can't hear again, I'm sorry.
We're voting on public participation at board meetings 93-24.1.
No, as is, no.
Okay. So there's no, I vote yes, Joe voted yes. Good. Oh. Okay, moving on to letter F, meeting conduct 93-25.
That's page 50.
yes, they're out of order. Yeah, we got it, right.
93-25.
This is
And
that
this-
page.
Page 58.
And this,
I would like to make a motion to approve meeting conduct 93-25 as presented with one major revision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 6 struck in its entirety. And paragraph 6 says, for those who can't see the go, I'll read it right in front of me. The Bridgeport Board of Education shall not adopt resolutions except where adoption is required by law or where the intent of the board is to publish a status position of the board, as in advising the General Assembly of the board's position on proposed law or commending staff or other agencies for work well done. I don't think we should hamstring ourselves or the future boards in any way, shape, or form, but we could always come by law. We might want to make a proposed Bridgeport Public Schools is a welcoming environment for immigration and immigrants. We welcome all comers. So just to like an issue of the day that we really want to weigh in on. And let people know where the board stands. I think we should be able to do that.
Hey, Lamont, any comments on 325?
Can you hear me? No,
Yeah. Okay. No comment?
no
Okay.
comment.
I don't think any second.
Nobody seconded.
Okay, you want to second the motion, Lamont, or?
Can you hear me
Yes, sir.
again?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Because it keeps going in and out on my computer.
would you
I'll
like to
second.
second? Okay, okay. You know,
Any further discussion?
okay, any further discussion on meeting conduct 9325?
Yes, I would just like to add to this. Move to the full board, waiving the first and second read.
For the second, Lamont, or?
I'll second.
Point of information,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Traver.
isn't that the board's decision whether we waive the first and second reading, Joe?
Yes, once we get to the board, the board can vote no against it, but we as a committee are pushing it forward to waive the first and second read, which the board has the right to deny,
Okay.
as with
I
any
just-
other item that comes from a committee.
So your vote here is irrelevant. It's the board's decision ultimately. Correct?
Yes, on every single issue that comes before a committee, every vote on the board committee needs to be the
I'm
accepted.
just, I asked you a question. That's all. It's a yes or no
Yeah, I'm
question.
just trying to avoid the question in the future because it would be time wasting. So now we all know that every committee.
You're wasting the time. It was yes or no. Simple question.
Okay, okay, all in favor?
The amendment.
Mr. Daniels?
No, I withdraw my vote, no.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none. Moving on to,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. That was on the amendment.
oh,
Now. The
now-
main motion at the end.
Okay, now we're voting on the main motion. Excuse me? Now we're voting on the main motion as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Come on, no.
Andre, yes. And next one, item G, quorum and voting procedures, 9325.1.
Alright.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. To approve, okay. Hold on. I think about this, because it's too late and perfect. Motion to approve 9325.1.
Lamont, do you want us?
I'll second.
Okay,
Make a motion first. I thought you wanted. Mr.
yeah, any discussion?
Motion, yeah. Take the motion, we need to look at number 5. A member may abstain from voting. We need to strike out the entire end of that sentence with the knowledge that the effect was the same as if he or she voted on the prevailing side. There's no such thing in any statute. In fact, that could get us in trouble with executive session. And other votes, anything that requires a 2/3 vote requires members and voting, and this brings back to, we go to the definition of voting on the first page, 9321.2. It's in direct contradiction of the definition provided. And you'll see voting on the last sentence, abstention shall not be counted as votes, but shall be recorded. The importance of getting this right is I'll give you an example. We got me, Mr. Woodson, and Mr. Daniels right here. If we were in a regular meeting, we want to add something by 2/3. The Daniels would abstain. You would vote yes, I would vote yes. There's no winner. Well, make it a 5 person. A two tie with one abstent. Anyway, it just doesn't, I'm sorry, I can't, the. An abstention changes the numerator, but not the denominator. So to get to 2/3, you've got to count that person in the denominator, but not in the numerator. Because that could get us going into an illegal executive session with 9 board members and 5 voting yes. Abstention being counted as a yes improperly, it will be an executive session because 5 is more than. And I think that line needs to be struck. And then, and everything else that goes along with the. Mr.
Okay, Mr. Daniels, any comments?
No.
Okay, Ms. Jimenez?
My edit to this is very minor. It keeps saying he or she. This document needs to be gender neutral. So I'm proposing that instead of he or she, we're using they and their. And it's on here in number 2, in number 4, and number 7.
Yeah, I got no issue with that, Oh,
They have.
We're happy
to change
Going to that, I think, probably be better handled globally throughout all the documents and we make
Yeah.
like a good policy, because this is imbued everywhere in policy. In almost nearly every policy. I've had this issue before, it's in policies and in contracts. I've brought this up before and I do agree 100%. And we could do it at this moment for this one, but if we're gonna do it for every single one. Since it's not on this, is this a regular meeting? Is this a regular committee meeting?
This is
Our regular committee meeting. So I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda. To strike all gender.
Wait, I'm not, because you have a motion.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Got you down.
Wait, did I make the motion?
And
The motion was never seconded.
and if I can just chime in really quickly, I do have those edits throughout the entire document. So as we're reviewing different policies, I'll bring them up. I will say the other ones that we've reviewed, that hasn't been an issue to them.
Can we, once everything's approved, do the massive global change instead of
Yeah,
throughout?
right. So I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda by 2/3. Amending language in any policy coming before us. And to be gender neutral.
Second. Is it all in favor?
The column guy,
Andre, aye. Mr. Daniels?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Aye.
being added to the agenda, we need a motion to change all gendered language to gender neutral language throughout our policies.
Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Second.
Second, or is it second?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, any discussion on it?
Sorry.
Okay, seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye, Sakalovic.
Lamont Daniels, aye.
Aye.
And now. Let's take care of, we're gonna strike those and through all, what we're saying now and make a motion to accept 93-25 presented by striking out with the knowledge that the effect is the same as he or she had voted on it prevailing side. Full presentation to the full board, waiving the first and second read. Immediate implementation.
Could you explain again what you deleted?
What you said?
Number 5, every word after voting.
In red. in five. Parentheses.
It's,
Oh, yeah, wasn't I just delete that?
In a five.
Thought I had it, sorry.
See, Mr. Traver?
yes, thank you, Mr. Woodson. Remember, since my district computer's not working, I'm using my personal phone.
Okay, let's take a vote. On 9325.1. All in favor?
Aye, Sakalovic.
Hey, Andre,
Lamont Daniels, aye.
on the agenda. Consent agenda 9325.21.
Okay, Mr.
It's out of order again. So it's page 62.
It could be.
No, two first. Order of business.
out of-
Oh, yeah.
Order of business.
Yes.
Where are we?
No, we're in order of business. I'm sorry. We're on, item H, order of business 9325.2.
Motion to approve. Order of business 9325.2 as presented with one change under number 9 and 10 for old business, and then shift the numbers down 11 and 12.
Old business.
And old business.
There's no old business. Old business unfinished. We used to call it old finished, it's been both. I'm happy with unfinished business. Last one we've had it for a while.
So under
Old
new
unfinished-
business, under new business, then old business?
Old business comes before new business, right?
Yeah.
Comes before consent agenda too.
You don't have the agenda, so that's an addition.
There's a second for, Joe's amendment,
It's all.
motion. I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye, Sakalovic.
Andre. I think I'm on, did you vote? No, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda 9325.21.
Motion to approve consent agenda 9325.21 as presented, waiving a first and second read for immediate implementation.
Seconds. I'll second, any, comments? Seeing none, take a vote.
Sakalovic, aye.
Andre, aye. Lon. Ayes have it.
He's been having
I'm
technical.
sorry,
difficulties.
aye.
No problem, okay, got you, Lon. Okay, next item on the agenda, letter J, parliamentary procedure. Parliamentary procedures 9325.3.
Motion to approve parliamentary procedures 9325.3 with one slight addition. 1, 2, and the third paragraph from, and not the third paragraph, the third line, in voting, the yeas and nays and abstentions will be taken and recorded. For immediate implementation and a waiver of the first and second read.
Good, there's a second on Joe's, motion.
These, yeah.
Yes, common, nays, common.
Take it.
And
Oh, yeah.
No comma after nays.
no Oxford comma? Yes.
No, the comma.
No, no. I'm with Mr. Traver.
Eight, everything.
Second, right?
Yeah, it was second.
No, I'll second it. Any comment on, 9325.3?
Nothing here.
Okay, seeing none, let's take a vote.
Sakalovic,
Lamont Daniels, aye.
Andre, aye. Ayes have it. Letter K, vote recording 9325.4.
motion to approve vote recording 9325.4 as presented with no revisions for
Oh.
immediate implementation and waiver of the first and second read.
Go
Second,
ahead. Okay. Any comments? Seeing none, take a vote. I went to the board.
aye. Lamont
Aye,
Daniels.
Sakalovic,
Aye, Woodson, ayes have it. Next item, L, request for information by board members, 9325.5.
motion to approve request for information by board members 9325.5.
A second.
No yawning. Second,
One thing I would like to see change, we could talk about it for a minute before. That's it. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, paragraph 5, 1, 2, 3, third line, beginning with documents or other management information relating to individuals' contracts, meetings or events of any ongoing management processes unless under the purview of the Freedom of Information Act are considered privileged management and not within the purview of the board. This whole entire sentence needs to be struck. Except maybe something, the redaction and stuff contained. And contracts are certainly under our purview. Has been established somehow. And when we did not see contracts of the board, we had to reverse them. We had a major embarrassment because we did not see contracts. We had to reverse contracts. We had to have a legal opinion that those contracts were illegal because we did not vote on those contracts. Contracts are certainly the purview of the board. We are the fiduciaries of the city of Bridgeport. Under other parts of our bylaws, we must approve all contracts over $25,000. So that definitely needs to be struck. This board or future board should never be under the impression that they should not see contracts. That is under the management purview. And just looking at, unless it's under the purview of the Freedom of Information Act, as board members, we are not limited to information that's available to under the Freedom of Information Act. We need all the information to do our jobs, to vote intelligently on issues. And that's all I have on this discussion for now.
To the chair.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead. You can finish that.
Lamont, you got any comments about,
no, I don't.
okay, Mr. Estimer Jimenez?
I just wanted to flag that this is one of those policies where we have to be gender neutral as well. Third paragraph. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Traver?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Mr. Sakalovic, though I think that there is a board and board member distinction to be made. And so, I'm not sure how we make that distinction.
Asking like, are you saying basically, individual
Well,
board member versus the full board?
Yeah, the full board, the board has the right to see all that information.
The
But
individual,
yeah, individuals sort of wanting to see all that information themselves, there may or may not be some limits on that, it seems to me. I guess that's what I'm.
Yeah, I think another important piece of information in that paragraph is privileged management information. So maybe if Jody could just clarify it, because, you know, there are certain personnel records that are private. So I wouldn't want to strike something that would allow the board to access privileged management information. So maybe if Jody could just clarify what the intent of that phrase is.
Yeah, but they were good before we do that, regardless of the intent, I got the curing language. Or to keep that, actually keep that in there, keep those portions in there and remove one. That's why I just wanted to have the discussion first to see where everybody is, so we can make the motion one time. We're not going back and forth so much. I'm trying to be a little bit streamlined. And to Mr. Traber's point, Mr. Traber was talking about individual boards, and as addressed elsewhere in the policy, that if it's too cumbersome for the superintendent to give, if we have something that, then there's a backstop on it. That's where it works.
Yeah,
Um,
I would just agree
uh,
with Chris's comment. I have nothing to add to, he explained it perfectly as to why you should continue to include performance information and privileged management information.
And there was an element of cumbersome, Miss Joe, and there was an element of personal.
Correct, yeah, and I'd like to draw your attention to paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's addressed sufficiently. Should the information not exist and or be difficult to obtain, and should the superintendent determine that the value of the information to the district be insufficient to justify the time or cost of obtaining it, she shall notify change that to the language, notify the full board with an estimate of the time and cost of responding to the request. By board action, the board will direct the superintendent to provide or not provide the requested information. So for instance, if I ask the superintendent to give me every single person's salary, the hours they worked, the number of absences, that's obviously something the superintendent will push back on. I can't have personnel director doing all this and tied up for hours upon hours upon hours. And then the board, if they think there's like something like valuable in it, like we're looking for something certain or whatever, we can direct the superintendent to do that. But this gives the superintendent an option to block that. So that's already taken care of in that sentence.
Mhm.
That deals with part of what I'm getting at, yes.
And now go back to this language, where's? It's actually easier just to strike that whole paragraph and insert this paragraph in its place. I can give you this afterwards. Board members are entitled. Board members are entitled to timely access to information reasonably necessary to carry out governance responsibility, including oversights of budgets, expenditures, procurement, and contracts. Superintendent shall provide the requested information to the requested member and concurrently to all board members unless the information is protected from disclosure to the board by law, attorney-client privileges, or requires redaction of legally confidential students' and employee records. When information is withheld on privilege grounds, the superintendent shall provide a brief written explanation of the basis for withholding, and when feasible, non-privileged summary sufficient for governance. Does that address the concerns?
It was fast, I think, yeah.
Joe, I
Okay,
think
that's
that's pretty fast. You want to give it to me though, if you're gonna.
I'll read it again.
Okay, first, exactly what paragraph are we now going to strike and replace?
Okay, yeah, let's do it as-
Taking should.
I'll do it, I'll do it as a motion to save step. I make a motion to accept as presented, to amend her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not to amend, to strike paragraph 5 in its entirety and insert the following language. Board members are entitled to timely access to information reasonably necessary
To information reasonably necessary.
to carry out governance responsibilities, including oversights of budgets, expenditures,
Budgets, expenditures,
procurement,
we'll fix it.
and contracts. Superintendent shall provide requested information to the requesting member and concurrently to all board members unless the information is protected from disclosure to the board by law.
Protected from disclosure to the board by law.
An example provided like e.g., I don't know, AI assisted with this one. For example, attorney-client privilege.
You want me to keep them?
I don't think you gotta include that.
Yeah.
Let's leave that out. Or requires redaction of legally confidential student/employee records.
Or requires redaction of
Legally confidential
legally confidential.
student/employee records. When information is withheld on privileged grounds. Privilege.
Which
Superintendent shall provide a brief written explanation of the basis.
of the basis
For withholding and when feasible,
for withholding what?
and when feasible,
For withholding.
and,
When feasible.
and, comma, when feasible, the commas. If those are
We'll fix it.
correct.
And
A
feasible.
non-privileged summary,
Privileged, wait, I'm moving the Joe for non-privileged.
summary. Sufficient for governance.
For
Governance.
governance.
Yes.
Last one. Jody,
Yeah, I guess again, my only concern here is that what is protecting the superintendent from a board that is in his office all the time requesting information that works within this framework of what the board can expect to receive, any board member can expect to receive, and then concurrently the full board receive. You want your superintendent to be the executive, the executive of the district and work and be in classrooms and work with programs and ensure the excellence in the school district. My concern would be that there's nothing really to protect the superintendent from a board member or many board members who have desires to see information that they could argue fulfills this bylaw or works within this bylaw.
Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll cover that because that person will become a vexatious requester. And we bring to the entire board that Mr. Woodson is always asking for information. He's taking up too much of my time. Can we address this with Mr. Woodson? I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, no, I was gonna say they're putting it on the responsibility for the superintendent to bring to the full Is that what you just, I'm sorry, I missed some.
No, it's just that I think the part you're just asking about is if the if I ask the superintendent for data. Guy have in the past. He not only gives it to me, he gives it to everybody. What Mr. Caruso, right? Caruso, Mr. Caruso is saying is what Jody, I'm sorry. Sorry,
That's
Joe.
quite all right. That's flattering that you would call him Mr. Caruso. That's no problem.
Blame
Um,
Nick.
Yeah. What he seems to be getting at is vexatious requests from board members. Like I ask him every day for 10 different pieces of information. It becomes overwhelming for him and staff, but that'll lead us into difficult to obtain and takes up the value of information, the time and cost of obtaining it. I've got other things to do. I can't get this for this board member right now, and then be an assistant in the same way.
But with this language, you can
Oh,
then
oh,
go
okay.
back to your bylaw and say, no, this, I'm asking you for information that works within my right as a board member through this bylaw.
Through the chair. I would just add, just for the board to consider with this language, the way it's written. Are you asking the district to provide legal clarification to the board about what was privileged? If you're asking the superintendent to make a legal determination, that would involve a cost to the board attorney, because as the district can't really make legal determinations about privilege outside of council. The previous language allowed more of a, general understanding of Freedom of Information Act. So I just would want the board to consider from a district's perspective that would this language, because it references the law and requiring essentially a determination on privilege, that non-lawyers, non-attorneys may not be able to make an adequate determination of privilege. And we would need to consult with the board attorney, which would incur costs to the district to make those determinations of privilege. Just something to consider. And
And I think that's well established within boundaries that the superintendent knows FERPA violations are a no, that Employee Privacy Act issues are a no. But he also knows that when an employee is being disciplined and it has to go through a process, we've got to hear that. That's a yes, and got to get the information behind that. I understand, and I don't think it's gonna take a legal opinion. All you gotta do is give us a brief explanation. You put down FERPA or whatever violation, but I mean, you won't be able to judge, even a contract negotiation, any sensitive contract negotiation can be done in executive session with the board, and he can't sign it without the board anyway.
yeah, except I hear you, except we would just want you to consider that the negotiation process would be a privileged situation where when it comes to the board to approve the contract, absolutely you have the opportunity to review the contract. But if you would ask the superintendent, I see you're negotiating with this bargaining unit. We want to see where the negotiations stand. Let's see your notes. Let's see the draft contract. The district would say, no, that's privileged. It seems like it's setting up a little bit of an adversarial between the board and the superintendent, where you might ask for things to try and get information that are in a privileged situation and require the district to provide a rule or a determination of privilege. It's just something to think about for the board.
Yeah,
Just a little bit of thought.
Right,
from the district's perspective.
I get it, and I see the concern. However, we as a board could put on the agenda, we want an update on negotiations with such and such firm and go into executive session, and the superintendent must comply with that anyway. So I'm not seeking to limit any of the board's authority whatsoever to make these decisions.
Right.
Which doing so by putting it in the bylaw, we'd have to waive the bylaw to do that.
This is a request for information.
Request for-
bylaw. So you're asking us to provide you.
No, but not, okay, here's the troubling part of that language. The most troubling part of that language is related to the That's under the purview of the Freedom of Information Act. Contract negotiations are not under the purview of the Freedom of Information Act, but they are under our purview to get the status. We are allowed that.
Yeah, correct.
Land purchases, building purchases are not disclosable while they're being negotiated, but the board has a right to get updated on that. Draft budgets is, can go either way. It's not, don't really have to be released, but it's not really sensitive information that can't be released and without damage. And, I mean, might cause panic or whatever have you, but that would be something different. If I want to know the status of the budget,
Respectfully, I would, the district would refer that to council just to make sure that.
See, it's budget?
clarified. No, about contract,
Okay.
your point about during contract
during
negotiation.
that
We just-
negotiation for the board,
we
to-
defer it.
so the.
Because I believe both parties enter an agreement where that is like a sealed process where neither party can discuss that during the negotiation.
However, when you look at agency law and contract law, superintendent is our agent. We are not the superintendent's agent. He's acting on our behalf. They are dealing with the Board of Education for approval of their contract through the superintendent. The superintendent is not a separate, distinct entity. The superintendent is our employee acting on our behalf.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
I thought we were trying to move this along and now we're having a intellectual discussion about the law. And neither party is an expert on the law. Both have opinions and a certain amount of knowledge about this, and I respect both's opinions and a certain amount of knowledge about this. But in the end, there would be a lawyer involved if we needed to resolve this question. Our concern is will be debated at the full board. And so could the committee come to grips on what it's going to do so that we can get through this meeting? Thank you.
Make a motion to table it until we get a legal opinion. And which we don't necessarily have to use an outside attorney. Can run it by the city attorney? Because they have contracts and they have confidentiality clauses too, to see how they deal with it.
City attorney would be just fine, yes.
The motion to table until we get an opinion from the city attorney as to whether we are permitted to seek contracts and get updates on contract negotiations.
Listen, that particular issue is just, in fact, in the last round of negotiations, we were supposed to get reports, we didn't. So it's just, you guys are both wrong and both right. So let's just, that's not what's holding up this discussion. It's the question of whether somebody thinks somebody's going to abuse it. So let's just not get hung up on that issue.
There was a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Please.
Yeah, second.
So let's just go on with council.
We got a.
Okay, all in favor of,
Aye.
This is the motion to table this, correct?
Yes, sir.
Aye.
Monday agenda. Vote recording 93-25-24. For the board members. I'm sorry.
Minutes.
Letter K.
M.
M?
Minutes. Yeah, what was, we get that?
Okay, letter M, minutes, 93-26.
Motion to approve. No. Motion to refer to the full board. For the first read. Policy 93-26 with one very important change. The very last line, Once the minutes have been approved by the Bridgeport Board of Education, the tapes will be destroyed. For several state statutes that this is in violation of, including
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Tremera have their hands waiting for you.
Okay,
No.
well, hold on 1 second, we're just going through it with,
oh wait. The sentence.
I think it was.
Okay, discussion. Yeah, if there's a second, we can discuss afterwards, Somebody second it for the sake of discussion, you can always vote against it after.
I second it.
And now the problem with this bottom line here is Connecticut statutes 1-200 defines public records broadly to include any recorded data or information relating to public business regardless of the format or storage location. Connecticut General Statutes 210 requires public agencies, including Board of Education, to provide access to existing record. Connecticut General Statute 7-109 governs the retention and destruction of municipal records, including Board of Education records, and prohibits destruction without authorization. Connecticut General Statute 11-8 authorize public record administrator to issue mandatory retention schedules. I'll cut to the chase here, and we got minimum retention period for all BOE meetings, recordings, 3 years. This requirement applies regardless of whether the recording is stored on district servers or hosted by a third-party vendor, or whether the recording is maintained by a contractor on behalf of the BOE. The board is,
Where are you on that?
if the Board of Education is relied upon, or relied on the reason this should be struck. Relied upon or authorized the recording of public record is subject to the 3-year retention requirement. And also, retention periods are suspended during such legal holds, and destruction is prohibited even if the minimum period has otherwise expired. So if somebody does a FOIA request about a meeting that has been recorded 2 years and 164 days ago, we may not destroy that record. That time period freezes. And this is all statutes. I got them enumerated. If anybody wants to look them up and match them up with reality, they can feel free to do so. But that line there's no earthly reason to affirmatively want to destroy a recording of our meeting.
Okay, Jim,
I think this is specifically to the court recorder, not like a two department, right? So like, if you're giving us the minute, this thing being destroyed, I don't know, like,
Whether
would anybody, like any recorder?
whether the recording is maintained by a contractor on behalf of the Board of Education
Okay,
still applies.
all right.
And there's no reason, I don't see
Any recording? Like,
any recording, no matter what format it's on Teams or blah, blah, cannot be destroyed.
so it's like, there's a person recording the meeting.
Somebody outside? No,
Yeah.
somebody we pay.
Okay,
We're paying a contractor to maintain these records. And can anybody see any value to affirmatively putting into a bylaw for somebody to destroy a public record?
Let's just, so you're striking the whole thing. We talked
Just
about
that
this.
whole sentence, yes.
Well, we don't even need to talk about the recorder
Right, just strike the whole.
paragraph. That whole paragraph goes. The Bridgeport, yeah.
So the motion is to strike paragraph.
the
The last paragraph.
Thank
The
you.
last.
Motion to strike the last paragraph. What's easy to count? Motion to strike the last paragraph. Period.
Motion to
Second.
approve with the last paragraph struck.
okay, I'm gonna second it. And,
Well, that was actually.
Ms. Mayor Hernandez, you got any comments?
Yeah, on number 2, where it says the call to order stating time, shouldn't it be, it should be starting time. That's it.
Yeah,
It is stating.
It actually could be, it actually could be either or.
stating the time.
Yeah, it's now 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Which is when you're starting, or if you start at 6:05, it is not, and I think it actually works either way, but.
Yeah. It's true.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, you're stating.
So it's already on there, it's already seconded, revision.
So now.
Wait, hold on, did I,
You made a big motion. That's an amended motion.
okay, yeah, so that was an amended motion, and before we. Yeah, let's do the amendment motion first.
Unless you can withdraw, you know.
Let's withdraw. Yes, I think Miss.
I think you made two motions.
Yeah, so, yes, okay, so I want to withdraw my amended motion.
A second is, withdrawal.
And I would also like to withdraw the main motion.
Seconded.
I would like to move to the full board with the waiver of first and second read. Policy 9326 as presented with one change, the last paragraph struck.
Second. Any further discussion?
None here.
Take a vote, right? Take a vote to,
Aye. Colvin.
Lamont Daniels, aye.
right? On, item 10, electronic communications 9327.
Anyone? Okay. Unless anybody got any issues with the next 1, 2. 3. I'm not here. Next page is consolidated and move along a little quicker, so I would therefore like to make a motion to consolidate. Policies 9327, 9327.1.
The other 27.1 is an appendix, I think, right? So I.
Yeah, it's still gonna be there. It's within the policies, it's. Yes. And
That's why it's twice. Yeah, so it's.
okay, it's part of that. As presented. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm consolidating. Motion to consolidate 9327, 9327.1, and 9327.1 is social media, those three.
Yeah.
Motion to consolidate NOMP.
Yes.
Second. Any discussion?
None here.
Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion, oh, sorry. I'd like to make a motion to approve. No, make a motion to move to the full board for approval, waiving the first and second read of electronic communications 9327, board member use of internet social networks 927.1, and social media etiquette 9327.1 as well.
Second.
Second,
Okay, any comment?
none here.
Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Okay, now, next on the agenda. Item 3, discussion and possible development of creating policy on restricted access of individuals with prior on-campus arrests or disruptive or threatening behavior on school grounds. Any discussion, Mr. Daniels?
my file closed. Is there, is it, is there any material that we're reviewing?
What's no material?
Through the chair. There are 3 policies in the 1000 series that cover visits to schools, but they do not specifically specify that people with on-campus arrest, disruptive or threatening behavior are prohibited from school grounds. So if you wanted to work on these 3 policies in the 1000 series, the visits to schools and loitering on schools, we could draft, you know, or you working with the committee, we could look at adding what's in this agenda item to those policies. It's up to the committee and the board to.
Okay, thank you.
That's my only question. Maybe not sounding the other. What if there's a student that meets this criteria and they're not allowed on like school grounds that you make, they might get arrested, they. And that's kind of like.
We would probably clarify it to
Yeah.
under community relations to adult, you know, visitors to school. It's a good. It's a good. I know that some administrators in the district are looking for some support. There's been a few instances of, you know, disruptive parents on campus, and they're just looking for some, whether it's a policy or a regulation, if you're willing, you know, if we wanted to look at this as an issue.
Mr. Traber, any comments?
Yeah, do we have a proposal here? And are we proposing that anybody who has a record not be allowed on campus?
There's no petition.
That's just a discussion. It's no proposal.
So, okay, so it's a discussion. Are we discussing that anybody with a record, that becomes a reason to not let them on campus?
I think the item on the agenda references on-campus arrests. So if the individual had been arrested at a school, that we would have a policy that they would not be allowed back to that school or any other Bridgeport school if they have been arrested on a school grounds prior to that.
So they would, okay, I would be more comfortable if you said to me that they would not have the right to return to any campus without some sort of review process or approval process. It wouldn't be a blanket statement. Do you know what I'm saying? I.e., they get arrested, they have a problem on one campus. And so they're banned from all campuses pending a review panel, a review process, so for a year, they don't get to go to campus, any campuses. But at some point, they petition to be allowed back on campuses. And they demonstrate that they're worthy of being allowed back on campuses. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's consistent with our own social emotional learning. Right?
Yeah,
Wait, my question wasn't answered, Mr. Skolovic, so I'm raising, it's not purely a rhetorical question, it's a serious question. So I'm proposing that it be a policy that does take into account that we have, you know, adult members and of families in our town who have had their own trials and tribulations and who may go too far on the campus, and we may decide that they're not allowed to come back to a campus for some period of time. But at some point in time, we may decide that they're worthy of coming back to our campuses. So we want to have that as part of the process. And so that would be consistent with social emotional learning. So that was my question. Wouldn't it be?
Who are you asking the question to?
To the person who's creating the policy.
Point of information, nobody's creating a policy until we give them the go ahead to create said policy.
Okay, so the person
Right now,
who
it's just
appears to
seeking
be the
He's seeking
director of
permission to
human
create
resources who appears to be leading the discussion.
I was just giving context for what the current
Ah.
policies are, that they don't address this specific agenda item.
Okay, I misunderstood then because I don't have anything in front of me. But to me, that would be consistent with what we are teaching our kids. Then I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Joe.
Listen, exactly, you're just seeking approval to see if the board thinks it will be worthy of staff time and energy to create such a policy. You don't have,
Yeah, typically the district's understanding is that, you know, the policy committee would ask us to do the work to bring you a policy that you would review. You know, this isn't something that the district brought to this was on the agenda, so we're here to see if you would like us to pursue. Or to look at a CADE model policy about this issue. Currently, the three current policies that deal with adults visiting schools do not specifically mention criminal records or a previous incident at a school that would prevent someone from coming back to that school. So if you'd like to look at, you know, certainly Mr. Traver's, you know, restorative approach or language like that, if the committee wants to, you know, refer it to the district, we could certainly put something together to look at a future year.
yeah, and I would definitely, I actually concur with a lot of Mr. Trager's points. That is, I am very anti-restricting parents unnecessarily, and that is, whether there's a policy or not, is taken into consideration while you're investing this time. Is this something that the board will approve, or you invest in this time just to have it possibly potentially shut down or not? So as the infancy of the policies being proposed, to maybe seek input at one of these meetings for the proposals, like what we think should be in there, as Mr. Trager was just give us some suggestions and stuff like that. And as for right now, we're talking about specific buildings. Even though we don't have a policy, can we trespass somebody from the building, from the school, if they act in a certain manner?
Correct. So the current policies allow the principal to essentially tell an adult you're not allowed in the building. Visitors must register at the main office, and then at that point, either security or the principal has the right to, under the current policy, to say you can't come in the building. I think, you know, it seems like this agenda item addresses if someone's actually arrested as a result of an incident in a school, that the board would have a policy to either address a restorative approach that you and Mr. Traber are talking about, or that there's some kind of ban or you're not allowed on campus after a certain period after having an arrest. But it seems like the agenda item is only specifically referring to arrests, not in general. If a school has a problem with a parent, they can restrict the parent from coming to school.
Yeah,
It seems like the agenda item specifically refers to criminal or disruptive behavior.
Right, and yeah, I don't want to get into the weeds on it, but take into account. Probably brought to us earlier rather than later before you go down a rabbit hole. And maybe bounce off anything, off maybe a legal opinion of restricting parameters around restrictions before you draw it up, so you don't have to go backwards. But I'm not opposed to exploring it if staff thinks it's could possibly be useful. But just understand the parameters and the environment you're in the city as you develop this policy and be conscious of things that Mr. Schreiber said. And many of the sentiments I can throughout the community.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. But we gotta put this stuff forward anyway.
Any more comments on discussion about creating policy about?
Yeah,
street-
I want to be clear about something. There has to be some sort of a review board that we have that's going to review this. The current policy that says a principal can say you can't come to my school is one thing, but we need to have somebody that reviews if we're going to expand that ban. And that has to be, you know, respected members of the community that decide that that's appropriate. Because remember, we're talking about somebody who is arrested, not convicted. And in this community, that means something. So we also want to be very clear. I mean, Christ, I had a parent complain about one of my students who, when her child and my student were guilty of horseplay in the hallway. And the other student, one student got arrested for horseplay. They were both engaging in horseplay. So we want to be very clear. Arresting, is not mean that the person did anything completely unacceptable. So we want to be very clear when we start meting out consequences about what, so we're balancing the safety and security of the staff and students in the building with the rights of the parents. So I think that we want to make sure that we do that properly.
Jody, is there anything Cabe that has anything to do with this?
I took some really good notes and I will look tomorrow and I'll work with you on this, Chris. I'm sure we can come up with something.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments regarding this creating this policy? Make a motion to
But sorry, point of information, it's not an action item, we're just looking at it now. All right, discussion and possible development of creating. I think it's, one, it's not an action item, so we can't move it to the full board, and two, I don't even think it's really necessary, because we as a committee can develop policies, that's our charge, we just can't approve the policies. So.
Mhm.
I think a consensus looks like you got to go ahead.
Okay.
Right.
All right, moving on to item number 4, discussion of possible development of creating policy for the evaluation of the superintendent.
I would make a motion to actually postpone this one, since it's not an action item, we can't really direct anything. But, we probably bring it back to the next meeting with an action item, with actual language, which is basically already here.
Can we discuss it, but Joey's there?
Okay.
That's kind of the main reason we.
Very good points.
Okay, Jody, what do you think about us, creating a policy for the evaluation of superintendent?
I think it's a great idea. We do have a model policy that was developed by CABE CAPS together. That talks that I think it goes back several years. It's being reevaluated and relooked at now through both organizations. But I think again, working with your with Chris and looking at what our current CABE model policy is, which is again developed CABE and CAPS together. Maybe we could tailor it to bring to the policy committee for your review.
That's good. Any more discussion? Moving on to the next item, number 5, discussion on possible development of creating policy for the lottery of interdistrict magnet schools. Any
Hi.
discussion?
Yeah, sorry. This was my referral and kind of wanted to share. Oh, and through the chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Woodson. Wanted to give everyone kind of a heads up on why I referred this to the board, and also just wanted to make a correction. This was intended for all the lotteries, not just the interdistrict magnet school. So, so I have been doing my own research on the lottery and how how it's done. I even watched our own team pull the lottery, and really this derived from me dropping off my kids at school and really seeing that there's a lot of people with City of Bridgeport badges dropping off their kids at Discovery. So it did start off at Discovery. However, the changes, if implemented, I would prefer that they're made across the board for all lottery schools and not just Discovery. So during my research and seeing how the lottery is pulled, it was very evident to me that there are way too many people with access to the lottery and able to make modifications. So my suggestion is, and let me just be clear, by many people having access to it, the schools have access to it. Various different departments downtown have access to it. So my proposal is to only have one department, the department that pulls the lottery, to actually have access to it. I do know that there's times where parents will submit the application and something might need to get fixed. And I realize the principals or the secretaries will go in to the lottery application and make those modifications. However, that really needs to be driven by one department to prevent gaming of the system. So that's really the purpose behind this, is really to really prevent certain schools from being preferred schools and schools almost of the elite. If you know someone, you can get into this school. It shouldn't be that way. That's not the intention of the lottery, of that, or of any of these magnet schools. So that's my proposal to this committee, is to have the lottery locked down. I'm not saying principal secretary shouldn't have access to it. They can have access to it. It would just need to be read only, and only one department would have access to actually changing the application of students seeking to join those lottery schools.
Yeah, when we're looking at the interdistrict magnet schools, those are Discovery, Fairchild, like Aqua to some extent, if there's over and over it. But we've got the magnet school policies are a bear because we've got two different types of magnets in Bridgeport. We've got the intern districts, which a lot of state statutes and state rules apply. But there might be some things in there that we cannot change. And then you've got your intra district magnet schools, which are your Pop City magnets, your High Horizons, your classical studies.
Which one did you see, Mr. Stop, sorry, which one did you see, Mr. Mayor?
Which school? Are,
Yeah.
which one I saw? Discovery. That's where
Okay.
my kids go. So that's that dropping them off and picking them up. That's where I see them. And to Mr. Sokolovic's point, I did read all those policies and I'm very hesitant on changing the policy because it's directly tied to funding. So what I'm seeking is an implementation change, not a policy change.
To the chair. If we did an implementation change, could we have our chief information officer be part of the conversation? Because I think we would want his input on changing the implementation or how, what departments and things like that. Would that be agreeable?
I think that makes sense. And I'm not part of the committee, just someone who did a lot of research on this. I think it makes sense. And Dr. Ciano, the other part of this is the central department that should make the changes I'm proposing that it's the, PJ's department since they're the ones that run the lottery. So agreed.
Mr. Traver?
Yeah, somebody's got to have control over who gets in and out. I mean, that's really what's going on. It's still going on after 32 years that I've watched it. People are putting people in, and it's happening in multiple ways. It just has to be controlled. Somebody's got to be accountable. And then there has to be a system that keeps an eye on it. And that's really what, it's got to be monitored on a constant basis. And there's got to be one person, and I think that's the superintendent's office, quite frankly, that has to, make sure, get a monthly report on any changes in the student makeup of each and every one of those schools. And at any given time, that has to be public information, not the FERPA violations. That FERPA has to be honored, but the actual change has to be reviewed and ensured that it's done on the up and up.
Yeah. All right, so just a little clear. So we're not seeking to change any of the policies per se. We're looking to, 'cause I don't disagree with this at all. We're looking to add guardrails or checks and balances, if you will, to ensure the system is not being gamed on top of the policies we already have, internal controls, if you.
Correct.
Yeah, I can see it, but I can see that would probably require a policy that the superintendent would need to use to implement the procedures behind that policy. And I don't think we'll run afoul of anything doing something like that because we're not messing with the process that the state lays out, and even our intra-district things, we're not touching any of those policies. We're just ensuring that the process was fair. And once we get into the developments, we can start raising ideas of how we do that.
Okay. go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, before we make any kind of decisions or accusations on how the process actually works, let's just wait to hear how do we actually do this? We're all assuming that it's done this way, that way. Let's wait and see how how it's actually done, because I don't even know how it's done. And then decide on what kind of guardrails or regulations can be put in place.
This is Mr. Mangman.
So I agreed with what Danielle just said. This is something that I've been kind of talking back and forth with Dr. Avery. And one of the things too is really as a parent, when I went in and submitted my application for my kids for the lottery, it was like a big black box. You just submit it, you don't know what happens in the background. So one of the things that we were chatting about and he actually suggested was maybe we do a video of, hey, you submit your lottery, this is all the things that take place, this is how we pull it. Just so that parents are also aware of what actually happens in the back end. And we were chatting about that being a resource along with all the guidelines that the parents have to like submit and have to abide by, having that video on our website as well.
Yeah, Joey.
Yes, just a suggestion, if this is a large enough issue and something that is having significant impact on a lot of people and how you do your business, maybe this would be a good opportunity for an ad hoc committee that the board would assign to this particular task in reviewing the policy and developing and reviewing the system, evaluating the system, and making recommendations for changes to the system, something to that effect. Again, I don't want to complicate it, but if it's a big enough issue, this might be a good opportunity for that kind of a committee to exist.
Yeah, all right, we recognize, sir. Yeah. I don't think it's as, would be as burdensome as we would think. I think possibly maybe 1 or 2 meetings, 1 meeting to hear the whole process of what's doing, because the checks and balances could be pretty simple. You don't have to be involved. I don't want to go deep into detail because the policy is not developed yet. It could be as simple as checking the lottery list and the numbers at the superintendent's office with the enrollment on October 1st. And if there's a name on October 1st that was not on the lottery list and is out of place, you call the people under the list, have you been offered a seat? If those people haven't been offered a seat, somebody skipped the line, and that principal would have to be accountable for that student being there. How did that student get into your school without going to the lottery process? Because that's probably the only way the system could be gamed, is putting somebody in the school who wasn't in a proper list order. I don't see too many ways for the system to get gamed unless it's, I'm now not casting any aspersions on any on any staff members or whatever have you, but it could be even directed by a supervisor above them or something like that. But that checking the balance of checking enrollment against the lottery numbers and just ensuring that those things are there, that's something that could possibly be developed. And if it's a fix as easy as that, or something else that somebody else could come up with that doesn't disturb anything, and just another, and I know I say we don't have enough committees, but just an ad hoc committee again.
Danielle?
I like what Jody said, and you guys passed the bylaws the other week on your committees. And I want to read your ad hoc committees to you. Ad hoc committees may be created for special assignments. And I kind of agreed that this would be, in a sense, this good special assignment to this policy committee. Started at 6:30. We're going to probably end around 9:30. There's a lot of policy to go through to be able to put it for this one special assignment in this one area. Kind of makes sense instead of, I think it would help streamline and move, we can move a lot more. Or the board could.
We're also not limited to 1 meeting a month. If we have an overwhelming amount of work, we could always call a second meeting as well. But I don't want to take the work all forward.
Mr. Draper?
Yeah, I agree with Danielle and Jody. I think that, Maritza has, done some, good work on looking into this. I have recused myself because I have a child in the system this year, in the lottery. So I have not wanted to get myself into it this year, but I think that, it is worth it to have. And I agree, Joe, it's not a lot of work, so I don't think this is a ad hoc committee like the advocacy one where we're having to put a lot of time into it. But I think it's a couple, 3 meetings to sort of watch what happens and put in place some checks and balances to make sure that there's, to make the parents feel like their child had the same chance as every other child. Because that's really what's happened over the years. I know that when we made the call downtown, we felt like the position that we got for Katie was just being held to be given away to somebody who was connected. And that's the general feeling for people in this town. So that's what we want to do, is restore people's confidence that they have the same chance of getting their child into to the lottery schools as everyone else. As it should be.
So,
And again, this,
oh,
this is just, again, not an action item on the agenda. The ad hoc committee wants to be formed, the board chair is welcome to put it on her full agenda, but time here.
any more discussion? And moving on to the next item on the agenda, number 6, the adjourn. Do I have make a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All right, second from Mr. Garbage. Have a good night, everybody.
All in favor? Aye.
Oh, all in favor? Adjourning? Thank you,
Good night,
Mr.
everyone.
Davis. Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
That's probably an issue.
Thank you,
My
Jody.
pleasure. My pleasure, everyone. Have a good night.